But the issue is, everybody calls themselves Bhagat, but whether they are true Bhagats or not. Those who are true Bhagats, when they recite their Bani contains the essence, the scent, the sugandhi of Gur Shabad, of the message of Paramatma. And Guru Sahib wanted to show an example of those Bani who could be seen as good words, but they do not have the essence of Atma Gyan, of Gur Shabad in it. And those Bhagats who meditate, they will lose their ego and thus start to do bhakti, and they will stop, or they will not commit any sins. Basically, Guru Sahib really helped to show ki dekho, apni mat, we cannot use our intellect when we are reading Guru Bani. So we could be syane, we could have like good intellect, we have so much of knowledge of Gyan. But until we do not have Gur ki mata, and until we do not do bhakti, we are going to drown. We will just drown with our syana, with our cleverness and our tricks, until we do not have Gurmat and we do not start doing bhakti. WhyGuru Ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh Sangat Ji. Welcome to another episode of Sikhanti Bhagat Mala. And in this episode, we are going to be looking at body number 26, where Bhai Gurdas Ji in var number 11 mentions about Gursikhs of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And Shahid Bhai Mani Singh Ji has told us the Sakhiyan based on what Guru Gobind Singh Ji told them. So the title of this body is Deshantari Sangat, which means Sangat from different places, states and countries, such as Kabul, Sirhind, Kashmir and so on. So the first Sakhi is about two Gursikhs. Pana Mallan Janiye, Kabul Rekh Rao Gurpai. So these two Gursikhs here, Pai Pana Mallan and Pai Rekh Rao. So there were two Gursikhs from Kabul, and they were basically shopkeepers of a Modi Khana. So we know a Modi Khana is basically a government retail shop, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji was also, they used to work in a Modi Khana as well, where we know the famous sakhi of Tera, Tera, Tera. So these two Gursikhs, they managed the shop, they owned it, and whatever profit they would get from the selling and so on from the shop, they used to use that profit, that money, to feed Gursikhs langar. One day what happened was, some people did not like this nature attribute of theirs, and they went and slandered to the Nawab, the governor of Kabul at that time, and said that, look, you have invested so much of your money, because the government has invested about 10,000 rupees into this shop for them to start this business. And so the slanderers say that you have invested so much of money, but these two people, they sell the ration, the groceries, less based on what they should be selling, which means that the weights that they use, it's not based on the actual weight, but it's lesser than the actual amount. So for example, if the weight is 1 kilogram, they put their 1 kilogram, but it's actually maybe just 900 or 950 grams. They sell less for the same amount of money, which means that they're making profit and they're not doing a righteous business. So what happened is that the Nawab, the government, then calls them and they want to do accounts check, and they wanted to calibrate the weights. So check the weights, whether they are actually accurate or not. So these Gursikhs, they were wondering, why would somebody complain? We have been running this business for over 5 years and everything has been fine. And they thought to themselves, for a moment they had this doubt, what if the weights are not in its actual weight? What if it is actually less than what it's supposed to be? You know, and us, our reputation as a Sikh, our Guru's name will be tarnished. Hana ki jera Guru da Sikh ya, chutha business karde ya. So they did an ardas to Guru Sahib, to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and they said ki Maharaj, please protect our honor. So basically on one side, Pai Pana Mallan, Pai Rekh Rao doing our ardas ki Maharaj sadi paj rakho, protect our honor. We do not know what situation we are in, but we know that we have been doing righteous business. We have not cheated anybody, but we do not know what's going to happen. Now at the same time, while these Gursikhs are doing ardas in Kabul, a Sikh comes to Guru Arjan Dev Ji and Amritsar, and they place 5 paisa, so 5 coins, in front of Guru Arjan Dev Ji and matha to Guru Sahib. Now Guru Arjan Dev Ji never would hold money or, you know, pick up the money or the peta that Sangat puts in front of them. But this time they did. They picked out their panch paisa with their left hand, they put it on their palm, and then they keep on putting on their right palm, and then they put it back on the left one, and they put it back on the right one. So they keep doing this repeated action. And the Sikh in front of Guru Arjan Dev Ji was asking, Ki Maharaj, first of all, you never pick up the peta that Sangat give you. Now that you did, why are you doing this repeated action of putting in the right palm, the left palm, and so on? So Guru Sahib says, my Gursikhs in Kabul have done an ardas for me to protect their honor. And I know for a fact that they have not done anything wrong, and I have now protected their honor. So what happened is, while Guru Arjan Dev Ji is doing this, putting the 5 paisa on either palm, when the Nawab, the governor, was doing calibration of the weight, so using the calibrated weights and also the weights from the Gursikh's shop, while that was happening, and Guru Arjan Dev Ji was doing this action, the calibration matched, which means the weights that was used by the Gursikhs, they were actually based on what was meant to be. So it was not less, it was not more, but it was accurate. So here, Guru Sahib protected the honor of those 2 Gursikhs. In the next sakhi, Bhai Gurdas Ji mentions about this Gursikh called Madho Soddi Kashmir Gursikhi Di Chal Chalai. So this is a very, very beautiful sakhi about Bhai Madhoji, who actually was sent by Guru Arjan Dev Ji to do Parchar. So basically, a few Gursikhs came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji and says, Ki Maharaj, you know that Kashmir de vich, in Kashmir, that area is conquered, is controlled by the Pandits. So we know this as well, because when Aurangzeb wanted to convert everybody to Islam, the first point was Kashmir. And that's when the Kashmiri Pandits, they came to meet Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji to ask for help, to protect them. The Gursikhs tell Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Ki Maharaj, the Pandits in Kashmir, they are overpowering, and they don't allow Sikha to read Gurbani in Kashmir. And why is that? Because the Pandits say that Sanskrit is the God's language. Basically, Devi Devte di Pakha, the language of the Devi Devte is Sanskrit. And the Pakha, the common man's language that we use. So in Gurbani, if you realize, it's easy for us to understand Gurbani. Apa Punjabi bolde hain, like I'm from Malaysia, and there's many words that are in Gurbani that also appear in the Malay language. So it's very easy for us to understand. On the other hand, if we start to read Sanskrit, maybe we want to read a Sanskrit scripture written in Sanskrit, we find it very difficult to understand. So the Pandits say that Sanskrit is the God's language, and Pakha is the common man's language. So no one is allowed to read any Ved, Puran, or any basically spiritual scripture in the common man's language, only in Sanskrit. So the other thing is that as Sikh, you have guided us to let go of any false practices, ritualistic practices that have no meaning, no spiritual significance to it. And because of that, these Pandits refuse to mix around with us as well. So Guru Sahib then sent Bhai Madhoji to Kashmir and said, Ki I have blessed you, that your speech now will be so powerful that whoever listens to you and does your sangat, they will become good, they will change their lifestyle. So Bhai Madhoji then does a benti ki Maharaj, the people in Kashmir, basically the Pandits, they are karmic beings, which means that they focus more on the karmic actions rather than the dharmic values. So they are karmic beings and they don't know anything about bhakti, about devotion, about prema bhakti. Guru Sahib says, Ki enna nu pata hai, actually they do know, because that's what the Shastras speak about prema bhakti. But the problem is they do not practice it. But Guru Sahib says, once they meet you, they observe your lifestyle, how you live as a Gursikh, they will start to practice prema bhakti as well. So here's a very important key point here that Guru Sahib says, that every Gursikh should be a living, walking, talking Parcharak, which means that our lifestyle should speak louder than just our words. So when people look at us, people see how we live, people see our actions, our attributes, they are inspired to also be Gursikhs as well. So Maharaj then sent Bhai Madhoji, and Maharaj says, just as the Pandits have so much of love for Sanskrit language, what will happen is that they will start to love the language of the Guru, just as a Sikh loves the language of the Guru, which is Gurbani. The words of the Guru, Gurmukhi, Gurbani, everybody will start to love it as well. So Pai Madhuji went to Kashmir and started doing Katha of Gurbani. The Pandits found out and they went to Pai Madhuji and told him, Ki, we do not accept any Shastra, any Bani written in Pakha language, which means written in the common man's language. Pai Madhuji says, he gives an analogy and says, Kyo. When someone wants to buy a kyo, the kyo could be in a clay pot or it could be placed in a metal pot. The buyer doesn't care which pot the ghee is placed in. It just wants the ghee, the kyo. Similarly, the words, the message of WhyGuru, of Paramatma, could come in Sanskrit, could come in Pakha language, could come in any language. It doesn't matter. What matters is the essence, is the message of what Paramatma wants to give us. Then the Pandits, they tried to be funny and they said, well, we do use the common man's language, but to explain to people who have moti buddhi, which means that people who have very low intellect or people who do not understand the Shastras, that's when we use the common man's language to explain to them. And Pai Madhuji says, well, in the age of Kaljug, you think that only a few people have moti buddhi or very low intellect. But in the age of Kaljug, everybody, a lot of people in this age have very low intellect. And that is why Guru Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev Ji to leke, they have written Gurbani in the language where everybody can understand, everybody can read, not just a certain caste people. Pai Madhuji then says, ki by reading the Vedas, people get smart, they gain knowledge, but their ego is not lessened. In fact, their ego increases. Ki mainu Veda pataya, I know the Gyan, I know the Shastras, you don't know, only I can teach you. But by reading Gurbani, Pai Madhuji says, one's ego is eradicated and thus they are blessed with Sikhi, which is the main aim because my ego is the biggest disease that stops us from becoming one with WhyGuru. And Gurbani is the key to destroying that. So the Pandits, they gained this understanding and therefore Mardi Kirpadana, a Dharamsala was then built in Kashmir and Katha, Kirtan, twice a day used to take place in the Dharamsala. So the next sakhi is about two Gursikhs, Pai Piva, Sirhind, Roopchand, Sanmukh Satpai. So two Gursikhs here who lived in Sirhind, Pai Piva and Pai Roopchand. So basically they were very good Gursikhs. They would work hard, they would give their daswanda, share their earnings, feed langar and celebrate Gurpurab. A lot of people, they have trust in Pai Piva and Pai Roopchand. So what they would do is, they didn't have a bank system back then. So now, for example, if you're going somewhere, we want to keep our money, our cash, our jewelry safe, we go to a bank and we put in a safe deposit box. Or if we have a safe in our house. But back in the days, there was no such case. There was no bank and so on. So these two Gursikhs were the one where people would come to them and give them their khajana, their treasure, and tell them, look, please keep it safe for me and I'll come back and collect it. So they would have an accounts book, they would write the name, the amount, and the date, and so on. So basically, one day a Mughal came to them and said, Ki, I have this bag of gold coins and I'm giving it to you. Please keep it for me and I'll come and collect it once I return from Delhi. So he was going to Delhi. So the Gursikhs then said, Chalo theek hai, vadya, and the Mughal had so much of trust in them, and cheti de vich in a hurry, the Gursikhs forgot to write the name, the accounts, the details of what the Mughal had given, and the Mughal gave the bag of gold coins and he went off. So Pai Piva, Pai Roopchand placed that bag of gold coins in their safe room. Now what happened is the Mughal came back after 5 years. So he came back after 5 years and he told them, Ki, Pai Sahabji, remember I gave you my bag of gold coins. Now I'm here to collect it back. There's 101 gold coins. So he was trying to verify there was 101 gold coins in that bag. Pai Pivaji looked into his accounts book, they looked into the room. They couldn't find any record. So Pai Pivaji said that, look, you didn't give us any bag. It's not in our accounts book. I don't remember. I don't think you're telling me the truth. The Mughals started arguing, so there was a fight and argument, and to solve this issue, they went to the Nawab. So they went to the Nawab of Sirhind, and the Nawab, the governor then, so to solve this issue, the Nawab, the governor, then prepares a pot of boiling oil, a kadai with boiling oil in it, and tells the two of them, Pai Pivaji and the Mughal, ki put your hands into the boiling oil, and whose hands will burn, whichever hand burns, that person is telling the lie, and the one whose hand is unburnt, unharmed, that person is telling the truth. But before we do this, do your ardasa, pray to your guru, your peer, or whoever you believe in to protect your honor. So both of them did. So Pai Pivaji did ardas to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj antatyan tarke and said ki Maharaj, please protect my honor. I really do not know what the situation is, but I know deep in my heart that I'm not telling any lie. So he said, Maharaj, main sukhna karda, means I place this offering in front of you that if I come out to be truthful, I will give you 5 gold coins. I will do peta of 5 gold coins. And he did ardas to Guru Arjan Dev Ji. The Mughal, on the other hand, thought about all the peers and Paigambar and all the people, you know, he could think about the prophets, the peers he could think about, and start doing ardas to everybody and say, I'll give all of you gold coins and all, but please help me out. So the time came and both of them placed their hands into the boiling oil, and the Mughal's hand got burnt and Papivaji's hand was unharmed, unburnt. So the governor then decided and, you know, threw the Mughal out and said, you're telling lies, and so on, and the case was closed. So Pai Pivaji goes back to his home and he tells the whole incident to Pai Roopchand. Pai Roopchand was listening and said, you know what, I think because he has come and asked for it, I think we should check our safe room, check everything again one more time, you know. So they did a whole search and they actually found the gold coin bag. So when they found it, they went straight to the Mughal and said, look, this is your gold coin bag, and it was in the safe, but there was no accounts, there was no record of it. That's why we couldn't verify what you were trying to say. So the Mughal was very shocked. He thought to himself, I was right, but I was proven wrong. I was innocent, I was proven guilty. And on the other hand, they were guilty, but they were proven innocent. What has happened? So the Mughal asked to Pai Pivaji, ki when you did your ardas to your guru, how many coins or what did you offer? And Pai Pivaji says, I offered 5 gold coins to my guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. What about you? He said, well, I must meet your guru. He didn't say anything. He said, I must meet your guru. So when the Mughal came to meet Guru Sahib then said, ki the problem is you were not faithful to just one peer or one person that you believed in. You tried to find every means possible to save yourself. If you were very, very confident, you knew that you didn't do anything wrong, you would have just prayed and be faithful to one Guru Sahib. So Guru Sahib then tells the Mughal, ki a wife who has one husband lives in peace, but if a woman has multiple husbands, that woman will never live in peace. So always have faith in one Guru, in one Paramatma, and your honor will be protected. So in the next sakhi, Pai Gurdas Ji mentions about this Gursikh called Pai Partapu. Partapu Sikh Surma, Nandai Vitthar Sev Kamai, Sami Das Vacher hai, Thane Sir Sankat Bahlai. So there's 2 different sakhiyan here. So Pai Partapu Ji was a great warrior. He was a Surma. He used to fight in battles. So he came to Guru Arjan Dev Ji and das benti ki Maharaj, the only thing I know how to do is use weapons. I only know how to use shastras and I only know how to fight. Now, for me, my question is, how can I attain liberation? How will I be saved so I don't have to come back in the cycle of life and death again? Maharaj then says, if death is meant to come, so there's 3 things we need for death to take place. Des, Kal and Vastu. So Des is basically the place of death, Kal is the time of death, and Vastu means the medium or how the death will take place. Accident or someone stab you or illness or something like that. When these 3 elements are together, then no one can stop death from coming. But if these 3 elements, these 3 points here, they are not matched, then death cannot come. And Guru Sahib says at that point, if Kal does not come, then Kal himself will protect you, which means Paramatma themselves will protect you from death. So Guru Sahib then says, do your duty as a warrior, as a surma, you fight in battles. But what you must do, and I realize this even during the time of like Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sakya, same Sakya came and Guru Sahib gave the same bachan that if you're fighting a battle, make sure you fight the right battle. You're on the right side, right? You're not attacking the innocent, you're not attacking children, the elderly, women, and so on. You're not fighting a battle for selfish reasons. Number 2 is always from your earnings, give daswanda or do charity and help people. So Mara says, do this and you will gain power. The shastras you use will be on your side, will have power, and you will win every righteous battle that you fight. So then the next Sakhi is by Nanda Vitthar and by Sami Das, who lived in Thanesar. So they were very truthful Gursikhs. They would never tell any lie. They would do seva of Gursikhs and they would do Kirt Kamai. So the Sikh then would call them Sukhniya. There was a nickname they gave them. So Guru Sahib then gave a var, gave like a boon to them and said, Ki, because you only speak the truth, nothing comes up from your mouth apart from truth and also WhyGuru. This is the reason why you will attain liberation and mukti. So Mara says, there is no good deed as equal to as speaking truth, and there is no bad deed or sin as equal to telling lies. So Mara says, oh Gursikh, Sikhan di seva karo, do their seva, give them langar, give them clothing in the winter, wash their feet, and your family also should grow up to serve the Gursikhs as well. And in your home, so this is a bachan, in your home, have Gurbani Pothiyan and make sure you read Gurbani in your house. So the next Sakhi now is very much connected to the last point here, that have Gurbani Pothiyan in your home. So the next Sakhi is about how Guru Arjan Dev Ji actually come to compiling a Sirhind Granth Sahib. So Gopi Mehta Janiye Tirth Natha Gur Saranai Pau Mokal Akhi Hai Tili Mandal Gurmat Pai. So these Gursikhs, Pai Gopi Mehta, Pai Tirtha, Pai Natha, Pai Pau Mokal and Pai Tili Mandal. So they came to meet Guru Arjan Dev Ji and they say Ki Maharaj, when we read Gurbani, so we know the Gurbani of Guru Nanak Dev Ji up till Guru Arjan Dev Ji, our mind becomes calm and peaceful, and we know in our hearts that we should not do anything wrong. So we start to do good actions, we start to do good deeds. But on the other hand, your brothers, Prithi Chand and Mahadev, Baba Prithi Chand and Baba Mahadev, they've also written their Bani. So Prithi Chand we know was against Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and then Mehirban, who was the son of Prithi Chand, goes on to write his own Bani and so on. So they have also written their Bani, but when we read their Bani, because we can't tell the difference, because even they use the name Nanak at the end of their Shabad, at the end of their Bani as well. But when we read their Bani, we become more egoistic, we feel so much of pride, and our matta, our intellect becomes bad, becomes, mally. So what do we do? How do we tell the difference? And Guru Arjan Dev Ji then addressed Pai Gurdas Ji and says, Ki Pai Gurdas Ji, this is a true situation, a true issue here right now. Ki now the Sikha during our time, or the Sikha before Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they know the Bani of Guru Sahib. They have stayed with Guru Sahib. They know the Shabads recited by Guru Sahib themselves. And so they know which Bani is Sachi Bani, the true Bani. But in the future, which means like the time now that we're talking about, a time will come where Gursikhs will not be able to tell the difference between which is the Bani written by Guru Sahib and which is the Bani written by imposters. So what we need to do is compile all the Baniya by all the Guru Sahib into a Grantha. And we compile this into a Grantha and have it written in Gurmukhi script, in which everybody can read. Everybody must have access to Gurbani and they should be able to read it. So all of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Bani, Guru Angad Dev Ji's Salok's Bani and Guru Amar Das Ji's Bani were in the safe hands of Baba Mohan Ji. So Pai Gurdas Ji was sent by Guru Arjan Dev Ji to Baba Mohan Ji's house to collect the Pothiyan. Baba Mohan Ji refused to give to Pai Gurdas Ji. Pai Gurdas Ji comes back and tells to Guru Arjan Dev Ji ki Maharaj, he is not opening the doors, I think you need to go. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji then goes to Baba Mohan Ji's house, and Baba Mohan Ji then closed the main door. So he closed the main door and he closed the door of his room and he sat in his room. Now Guru Arjan Dev Ji sat outside his house and he sang this Shabad, which is also in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, in Gaudi Mahalla Panjava, Mohana tere uche mandar mahal apara, Mohana tere sohan dwar jiyo sant dharamsala. So basically this whole Shabad Guru Arjan Dev Ji recited. Now when there's 4 verses in this Shabad, when Guru Arjan Dev Ji recited the first verse, Baba Mohan Ji opened his room door. When Guru Arjan Dev Ji recited the second verse and Baba Mohan Ji heard, he opened the main door. And on the third verse, Baba Mohan Ji then bowed down and matha tek to Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And when Guru Arjan Dev Ji completed the fourth pauri, the fourth verse, Baba Mohan Ji themselves came and gave all the pothiyan to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj then placed all the pothiyan on a palki side, brought it back to Ramsar Sahib, where they all sat with Bhai Gurdas Ji and compiled all of Gurbani into Adi Granth. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji rewrote, told Bhai Gurdas Ji as a scribe to rewrite all of Gurbani in Gurmukhi script and compile it. And at the same time, the Bhagats came to meet Bhai Gurdas Ji and did beinti ki, please add our Gurbani in as well. So the Bhagats then met Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and based on the Gurmat Sikhya, based on what is Sachi Bani, the Bhagats Bani were also added into Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. Then in the next Pankti, Bhai Gurdas Ji tells about a situation where Bhagats, a few people came to add their Bani in Adi Granth as well. So, Jeevan the Jagsi Fatehpur Sethatta Loke Sev Kamai Satgur Di Vadi Vadiai. So basically, Bhai Jivanda, Bhai Jagsi, Bhai Tiloka Ji came to meet Guru Arjan Dev Ji. They were from Fatehpur. So they did an ardas. So this was time where Guru Arjan Dev Ji was writing Gurbani, and they said, Ki Maharaj, you know all these Bhagats, they came before us. They were from different yoga, and they were like many years before Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The question is, are there still Bhagats during our time, or will there be Bhagats in the future? And Guru Sahib says ki har jug jug Bhagat upaya. You see, it's a beautiful Pankti. Ke every yoga, there's Bhagats, there's devotees, there's those who do Bhakti on Paramatma. Even now they are as well. But the issue is, everybody calls themselves Bhagat, but whether they are true Bhagats or not. Those who are true Bhagats, when they recite their Bani contains the essence, the scent, the sugandhi of Gur Shabad, of the message of Paramatma. So Guru Sahib then, to give an example of the true Bhagats whose Bani were already in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Bhagat Kabir Ji, Bhagat Farid Ji, and Guru Sahib wanted to show an example of those Bani who could be seen as good words, but they do not have the essence of Atmak Gyan, of Gur Shabad in it. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji told the Sikh to write a hukam to Bhagat Kana, Bhagat Chajju, Bhagat Pilo and Bhagat Shah Hussain from Lahore, and told them, come to Amritsar. When these four Bhagats received the Hukamnama from Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they all came to Amritsar. And the leader of all of these Bhagats was Bhagat Kana. So Bhagat Kana was a very great scholar, and with Yoga Mata, through yoga meditation, he was able to live for 500 years. Now, because of the amount of knowledge he had and also how long he has lived, he became very egoistic, and he came to Amritsar and all the Bhagats followed him. So when he met Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Guru Sahib says, Tusi apni Bani padho, like recite your Bani, and we would like to hear it. Bhagat Kana recited, Ohi re, main ohi re, Jako Ved Puran sab gave, khojat khoj na koi re, Jako Nard Sard sevhe Devi Devare, Brahme Bisan Mahes Aradhe, sab kar de Jaki sevare. So when you hear this, you feel like, wow, okay, yeah, there's only one Paramatma, everybody serves that Paramatma. But upon hearing this, Guru Sahib says, now is the age of Kaljug. And in Kaljug, if people hear this verse, instead of breaking and, crushing their ego, they will end up becoming more egoistic and indulging in sins and bad karam. Kana got really upset and he cursed Guru Arjan Dev Ji. He says, your body will be destroyed by the very hands of your enemies. So a shrab datta Guru Sahib nu. And Guru Sahib says, well, this body is meant to be destroyed sooner or later. The only thing that is indestructible is the Atma, which we have business with, not with the body. So Bhagat Chajju then recited his verse. He says, Kagad Sandhi Putri to natriya niharat yohi mar le jaisi jyo balucha di tar. So basically, it's saying that even if a woman is made of paper, a man should never look at her, as women will destroy the men. So upon hearing this, Guru Sahib says, the path of Sikhi, that Sikh Dharam has been placed on the foundation of Grist Marg, of the life of a family man, family woman, of a householder's life. Guru Nanak Dev Ji themselves was a householder, was a family man. We must refrain, the idea is not to refrain from woman, but refrain from thinking about another man's wife or another woman apart from your own wife, and look at other women as your mothers, as your sisters and your daughters. And similar for the woman as well, to look at men as your fathers, as your brothers, and as your sons. So have good drishti, not to completely shun the woman. And so Mara says that this is not the marg of a dharmic person. Bhagat Pilo then recited his verse and said, Pilo asa nalo se pale jamadiyan jo muhe, unna chikkad pavna dobya na alud paye. So Pai Pilo ji says, well, they are better than me who die upon birth. They do not commit any bad deeds. They don't get born in this world. They do not commit any bad deeds. And they go without committing any sins. Mara then says, Pilo ji, birth and death are both accepted in the house of the Guru. Birth is a positive thing. Death is a positive thing. Birth could mean that we have a chance to attain mukti, and death means that we can either become mukti with WhyGuru, or we get another chance to come back to, to correct our karam and do bhakti. Birth and death, janam and maran, are basically laws of the nature. It's bound to happen, coming and going. But on the other hand, sukha and dukha, based on our karam, are in the hands of hukam, the will of Paramatma. And those Bhagats who meditate, they will lose their ego and thus start to do bhakti, and they will stop, or they will not commit any sins. Then lastly, Bhagat Shah Hussain, he was the last one, and he realized that Guru Sahib has an answer to everything, and that these Bhagats before me have tried to show how smart they are, but Guru Sahib has, refuted their points and showed ki nahi, the knowledge of Gurbani, the knowledge of Paramatma is greater than our intellect. So Bhagat Shah Hussain, he says, Bolan di nahi jaye ve, adiya chup ve. So Bhagat Shah Hussain says, well, it's better to remain silent. There's no point in talking because you know everything. So I might as well just remain silent. And Guru Sahib then said, well, you have said the right thing. You have said the right thing of not saying anything. But now, because you have said ki there's no point in talking, it's better to remain silent, then the advice for you is you must practice what you preach. Thus, you should remain silent as well. So basically, Guru Sahib really helped to show ki dekho, apni mat, we cannot use our intellect when we are reading Gurbani. Because Gurbani says, na, Gur ki mat tu leh iyane, Bhagat bina bahu dubbe syane. So we could be syane, we could have like good intellect, we have so much of knowledge of Gyan. But until we do not have Gur ki mat, and until we do not do bhakti bina bahu dubbe syane, we are going to drown. We will just drown with our syana, with our cleverness and our tricks, until we do not have Gurmat and we do not start doing bhakti. So there's a very beautiful pauri here, and there's so much for us to learn. So hope you enjoyed listening to the sakhi and this pauri, and we'll see you in the next one. Pulan Chukan Dikhima, WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh.